Welcome to Co-Creative Connections. I'm Aliah Selah, and today we are doing Face Facts Portrait Challenge. It's a fun new way to draw portraits, and it's simpler and will help to build confidence as an artist as you move along with this challenge that I'm offering you to start a person a day, an artist challenge. If you're interested, come on in because we're learning the 4-step Loomis method and then of some face facts that I've been collecting and 4 features for the eyes, ears, nose, and mouth that make it so that there are little techniques that help you to ease your way into being a portrait artist. Come on in. So what we have here is we're going to be learning proper proportions for portraits. Go ahead, say that 10 times. No, I'm just kidding. These face facts are important because they are the guardrails, if you will, of humans. That way we know that we're drawing humans. And these certain face facts are true with all humans. It's what we all share. It's our humanity. Isn't that cool? And I just love all the different kinds of people. There's so many unique, beautiful people everywhere. So I love the fact that I can just continue to connect with people by drawing all different kinds. So if that's something that excites you, then you're at the right place because we're going to be going over all the features after we understand the scaffolding that the Loomis method is going to give you for all those features to go somewhere. It's amazing how they all fit into their little cubbies. So we're going to go ahead and bring all these concepts together into the facial features that are unique to each person. And also the cool thing is that as you move along, you do want to draw different emotions and, possibly characters and stories and different ethnic features for those peoples in the stories that you draw. So you learn that, and then you learn how to draw the face, of course, in different positions, because today we're doing the face fronting. That's the front face is how you should start. But then you can take that same information we're learning today and use it in any direction you do the face, because those things are going to stay in congruency with each other. So that's what's so cool about learning this method. It's going to help you to draw all different kinds of directions, different kinds of looking people. And that's why I'm going to challenge you with the Face Facts Portrait Challenge, which is you draw a person a day for 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever you have the time for, and then an MMP, which is a monthly marker portrait. And that's somebody that you're going to do the same photo of a portrait each time so that you can see how much you've improved. Because you're going to find that when you do this every day, you do improve and you really get to have fun. You start watching people and sketching unique people that you find. It becomes your quest. It's a wonderful thing to share. So let's go forward here, because first of all is your materials. And if you want to pause this and go get your materials so that you can draw with me now, I would love that, because I really made this so that you could have a practice buddy to do this with each time, every day, until you feel like you can do it on your own. I'm also going to give you a handout that you can have as well, which gives you all kinds of artist tips as well, so that you can continue to grow as a portrait artist and as an artist in many different ways. So you need a mirror if you're doing a self-portrait, and an HB pencil is a good one. As you can see, there's a lot of pencils here that are different names. And it started out with B for black, but it really means softer. And then the other one is harder, which is lighter. I didn't name these, so they're just that way, and that's the way they are. I find that mostly an HB is in the middle. It's like hard and soft, so you can do a lot with it. And then also, it's very important that you understand that with drawing, you can do this very lightly. if you want to draw something just shading, or, something that you're doing hair, or, this gives you a lot more control, and it's a lot lighter if you want to draw lighter. If you want to draw harder, go ahead and draw like we all write. But if you want to do light, do it this way. And then a pencil sharpener that can make it quite long if you want a long end, which gives you even more control to do even smaller amounts of lead and or graphite or chalk, whatever you're drawing with. So the thing that's so cool about that is that you will learn what's good for you. I like a 4B is good for shading, but there you'll find what you like if you want to do different pencils. And then my favorite part is your circle maker. And of course, you can use a compass. You can use a circle that you like, that you have. It depends on the size that you want to make the skull, because that's what it is. It's the skull. Okay, so if you want to make a really big one, it's a good idea, because when you're starting out and you working on your features, if they're bigger, it's easier to get more exact with the details, and just as a practice. But you want to have possibly more space. So that's why I have lots of different circle makers for different situations and, canvases and or things. And that way, I want to have a good amount of space on either side, but you don't need too much if you're drawing, just to practice. And it's a beautiful thing that you're going to find that once you do this, if you want to do this with the same size circle, you get really good at it. And there's a lot more to it that I can tell you that's going to be beneficial for that. And then if you want to have a ruler or a straight edge, that's good. And all kinds of erasers. Can we talk? I have all kinds little ones, as you can see right here in this dish. These are all different kinds of erasers and stuff that are really helpful. And the beautiful thing about that is, I don't know, a lot of people say, oh, you must love drawing. You draw so much. And I say, yeah, but not as much as I erase. Because, you got to erase a lot. So do it lightly. Because if you do it lightly, especially with this scaffolding, it's really going to help you, because that way it's a lot easier to erase when you don't want it on the face anymore after you've placed the features in. So it's also good when you draw to have good lighting, comfy ergonomic chair that seats you at a drawing desk or a table that feels like the right height for you to draw. And it's just what makes you feel comfortable. If you want to curl up on the couch and draw too, that's fine. It's what makes you feel comfortable. And that's the whole thing, so that you'll keep drawing, because I really love to turn people on to drawing. It's a wonderful thing to do. And then you really don't know how it's going to help you in the future and bring things to you. Now, the thing is, with you starting, there are 4 lines: the hairline, the brow, the nose, and the chin. That's the place where you know to begin. So that's what you do. You start with that, and then you have a horizontal line and a vertical line. Okay. And the horizontal line is about at the eyebrows, because the eyes are in the center of the head. And so, like I said, draw light, because those eraser marks, you're gonna want to erase all of this stuff that we're gonna put in. And this here is just Rapid Fire is a wonderful artist who does a lot of these. As you can see, this is just a Loomis method that she's made, very easy to see the steps as you go, which is wonderful. I found there were many people who did wonderful things, and I came up with something that I think is fun too. I call it a circle maker. You take your circle that you have and you make it into one on paper. So go ahead and trace your circle that you're doing, and then cut it out on paper so that you can fold it. Because I don't know about you, I've done things where I wanted to do the center with a ruler and I didn't quite get it, and then I didn't quite get it. So I found that if I do this, I line up the 2 sides perfectly. And then I have a straight edge for half of the circle. And I can do that when I'm doing the upper circle or the bottom circle. But what's even cooler is that now I can take this and I can turn it into a wonderful way to measure 1/3 and 1/3. So because it is 1/3, 1/3, that's going to help you with the lines that we have to do, the vertical lines, which are coming up here as we go over the Loomis method. We just have been preparing for it by making our circle maker. And you can use this again and again if you do the same size circle, but you can always make a new one. Anyways, we're going to start with number 1. And number 1 is you take your circle and you go ahead and you put it on your page so that you have your circle. Mine is like right here. There you go, on your page. So you put it on there. And then the next thing that you want to do is you want to draw a cross on it. So that's where I said sometimes you can try to line up and it's not exactly perfect. This is perfect. So that way I can just go right here and say, okay, and draw the line there. And then I can go here and draw the line there. And what's cool is that I also have the other lines that I need to draw. As you can see right here on the poster, these little lines here under the nose, bridge of the nose, eyebrows, and then or the brow line, and then in the center of the forehead and the hairline. So those are going to be really important lines that we're going to be using as we go on to the next step. And the next step is we're going to be drawing a square inside of the circle. As you can see here, I have drawn a square inside the circle. And what's cool about that is that these little lines that we made at the hairline, that's the top of your square. And then under the nose, that's the bottom of your square. So that if you draw those lines in and then draw a perfect square so that there's a straight line from those other corners, you leave a little space for the ears, which, as you know, are you see here, it's drawn a little bit more on the horizontal, and that's because the ears and the eyebrows line up with the tip of the nose. That's how long you want your ear to be. So that's a face fact. And there you go. That's another face fact. So as we go along, you see you're making little cubbies. Do you see the little space for the lips? And then the nose fits right there. The eyes are under the horizon line where the eyebrows or the brow line is. And then the hairline is up there so that everything fits. The beauty of this situation is that next, the third that we had of the face is not in the circle. It's missing, so we have to add it. We're going to add this jaw that looks like a crescent moon. And so if that is something that you go ahead and you see now that it completes the third, and the third with that bottom chin. And the thing about chins and jaws is that it goes with a straight line, and then you see it starts tapering into the chin. So you have this straight line that goes down and then it tapers down to the chin. And that's something that's going to vary with every person, but it's going to be about that because that's your jaw that makes it so. So it's definitely anatomy. So we add the jaw below the circle and a quarter moon shape. And then you end up having this angled, and then suddenly you're ready for number 4. Now, number 4 is that you've now made a space. If you make a little rectangle around the nose, you see that you've got this nose, and then you can see that the circles on the nose, the big one and the 2 smaller ones for the nostrils. And this little thing, I don't know what it's called. We have that right there. All these things fit in. You've got the ears you can draw in. So at number 4 is when you're ready to really make your features come out. And that's because you've made all the places where they line up exactly where they are in a human face. So I think that's pretty cool. And now you get to be fun and be a plastic surgeon and change small things, and big things happen because even a small thing, when you do faces, a small thing makes it really big. And go ahead and just have fun with that, because you can draw people you see, you can draw from photos, you can just draw what you imagine, or just draw and see what it becomes. So enjoy that. Now we're going to go over the various features. So these are noses, and the nose ends halfway between the eyes and the chin. The width of the nose is generally aligned with the inner corners of the eyes. So that means that you've got the inner corners of the eyes and the nose lined up, and the corners line up. The nose is simple shape, a bridge, as we said, and then balls of the nose, as we said, they're, and this person did it with like a cone shape and not the nostril balls. You know, it's different ways. This person did a squiggly. I thought that was kind of interesting. I usually do this, but I do smaller the nostrils than the one on top. But everybody, you need to find your own way, and notice that there's more shadow under the nose because of the darkness that's, you know, created from it being 3D. So we're all like 2D artists, or like in the art of illusion. So we're trying to make it look like it, like all the shading happening on this nose really made it look like it's sticking out, which is what you're basically learning what to do, which is really cool. So here we're going on to mouth and lips, and they're halfway between the bottom of the nose and the chin, and the corners of the mouth are aligned roughly with the pupils of the eyes. So that's something, a good face fact to know. The upper lip is usually darker than the lower because it's kind of angles downward, and the lower lip catches more light and is often highlighted. As you can see here, there's more highlight down here and down here and down here and here and even down here. And you can see that there's difference between male and female, and that doesn't mean every man and every woman, but it's just in general that you know, these are more feminine lips, these are more masculine lips. And it's fun starting with this kind of almost diamond, you know, flattened shape, and then you put the circles in, and that's what gives a 3D, once you shade it, this feeling of protruding out the way lips do, you know, they're not flat. And this one's really fun, a little heart there where you got the little real indent here, and then the two at the bottom where it's kind of puffing out. This one, it's got all these circles here are how you're going to shade it to make it look more 3D. So those circles are a really good thing to go with. Awesome. So then eyes. Who hasn't sat around making eyes? I love eyes. Anyway, so this is really cool because this is a good drawing that I found on how to draw a realistic eye. Starting with a circle, going into an almond shape, making sure you have the tear ducts, and then going into the pupils. And then what I really loved about this is that they did that little, you know, that little glint in your eye that makes it look real. Look at how these other glints are. They're so beautiful. I mean, it really makes an eye come alive. So they did it for you could kind of just see what they're talking about. Of course, it's where the light is. So it's not going to be always in that exact spot, but they do have to kind of match each other, two eyes and stuff. It's an interesting study. Anyway, so it's cool. As you can see, it's kind of getting more and more developed. And I thought that was a wonderful way to give you a tutorial with just eyes, and that to know that there is an eye size of an eye between the two eyes, so that there's a middle eye in between the two eyes, same width. And the eyes sit horizontal to the center of the head. So it's interesting. They're in the center. And then corners of the eye. Now this is interesting. They don't just go like straight. They either go a little bit up or a little bit down, and usually they go a little bit up, but I guess it's different people. They go a little bit up or down, and just they don't go straight because that doesn't look very real. And then the corners, you know, like I said, they go slightly up or down. As you can see here, they do. It's not a lot though. They look like, but you can see it's tilted just a little bit that way where they're going up and out. Do you see that? They're just kind of, it's very subtle is what I'm saying. Anyways, the other thing is that the eyelids wrap around. Do you see how they wrap around? They're not straight. They wrap kind of a curved shape, again, kind of like the crescent moon shape, and the sphere of the eyeball. And the pupils are looking forward. They usually touch the top of the eyelid or near it, but of course it matters how big the pupils are. Look how big those are, and look how small those are. So it really matters the size of the pupil on that one. And then when you're drawing a forward-facing person, you're going to have ears like this. It's good to know ear anatomy just to kind of see what they look like, but this is the way they look like when you're forward-facing. And, you know, the top of the ear aligns with the eyebrow and the bottom with the nose. That's how long they are. And ears, they angle back slightly, just like the eyes, just a little bit. And then you don't want to do too much or you'll look like an elf. Unless you want to be looking like an elf, go for it. Anyways, the other thing is you don't draw ears flat. They're like a C, think a C shape inside a C shape. So there's your C inside a C. You know, and it's kind of something that you just have to look at a lot of ears and kind of get that. And then once your portrait looks like a human, then you get to really play along and just like a plastic surgeon and have fun with, you know, what it is that would take a little off the nose and what would it look like if I did this or that. And it's just fun to play with. And what's so cool is then you get to ask, well, you know, what are they feeling? And then what lines and shapes would show that? And that's what I like this one here. It's like a friend of mine. She's just looking very content. She's got that smile in her eyes, reaching all the way to her eyes, you know. And then this other woman, she's not looking like she's having a good day. No, she kind of scrunched her nose a little bit. She's kind of mad about something. And that's, you know, something that we need to learn as we are artists who want to draw cartoons or want to draw stories or, you know, just have emotion in our artwork. It's just something that's fun to do. So I enjoy doing that and changing it up. And this is another one that I did where I was doing a study because as an artist, you give yourself studies. And I needed to do this for a midwife conference. And I started with Kuan Yin, who's the saint who blesses all maternity. And I had to study Chinese features and everything. And then I thought, oh my gosh, an African Shah woman, from India, a Hindu holy woman, and a native tribes medicine woman, and a Druid priestess. And I put them all next to each other. So what I got to study is the differences between their features from the different ethnicities. And it's just amazing. I loved it. I love people so much. And it really made me feel close to humanity and midwives of many cultures, blessing many babies is what I called it. So everyone is an artist and you are an artist. Please know that all the time. And that if you put time and patience and intention, that artistic growth happens. And especially, you know, if your drawing gives you, you know, like a way to express your ideas and you don't even know how it will help you in the future. It's a gift that you give to your future self. And you know what's so cool? If you do this a person a day and the monthly marker portrait, you will find that you grow so fast and so much faster than you thought. You don't have to draw all day long. Of course, if you miss a few days, have a good long day. But, you know, be life with, you know, life is strange. Be good to yourself. If you have a time to do it, it's just a few minutes. Just sit down and chill or do it while you're watching TV. It's okay. Just do it. Because you will really improve and see that in the monthly marker portrait. So go ahead and do that because, you know, remember to draw light and erase till it looks right. Because as we practice face facts every day, correct proportions happen naturally. And the longer you do it, the more you improve, the more you enjoy drawing, the more you allow your artist eye to grow. So, if you want to go further, I have a self-portrait freedom and the art of letting go with Frida Kahlo, a 6-week online course. And if you're interested in that, go to cocreativeconnections.com. I'd love to have you. And it would just be wonderful for you to stick with this portrait challenge. And if you do, send me your art. I'd love to see it. Thank you so much for sharing this time with me. And thank you for getting co-creative. Peace.